Hello, 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 and welcome. So, here we have another session of Tarot Spills the Tea tarot reading. This one is a quick look at Crystal Kung MINKOFF. All right, who is this not so pretty mess? A mess. Who is it? Okay, so let's just do like a little background check, but it's not the one that we're used to. This one is just me checking into her energy and seeing where she's coming from. So my question is, why did she decide to join Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? That's gonna be the starting point before I go anywhere else in any future reading sessions. All right, I found that it works better when I do the base of why are you here, like why are you in our life, why are you on our TV, okay? And then everything else after that, it just fits together like puzzle pieces. All right, so let's begin to sage this out. All right, now just to let the people know who may not know exactly who I am, allow me to tell you, I am Indigo Sage, an awakened soul. Alrighty, and I do have a spiritually based website at unapologeticallysage.com. And you can get your life there, okay? Real talk. There's humor there, there's love, there's pain, there's narcissism awareness, mental awareness. I mean, not mental, Lord, subconscious and conscious awareness, but also mental illness awareness. Just I touch on a lot of topics. And you can also find me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter under Unapologetically Sage. All right, let's keep going. But first, before we continue, what I need you all to do is bring your beautiful eyes to the bottom of your screen, no matter what screen you're looking at, whether that is your iPhone, your Android, your Cricket, your whatever screen, whether it's an iPad, a laptop, a notebook, whether it's your flat screen or big booty screen TV, whatever screen you're looking at, bring your beautiful eyes to the bottom of it and look at that red bar at the bottom. And what it says is, this is for entertainment purposes only, and every single word is what alleged and not to be used as facts. So anytime that you see this red bar at the bottom, the sentence inside applies. All right, now here we are, and you know what? I'm getting ready to say this. I know this is getting ready to be corny, but I don't care. It's my channel. I can be as corny as I want to. So this is a new little soundtrack that I just threw on. It's 90s throwback R&B mix, and this is Brandy singing She Wanna Be Down, okay? And it's so funny that we come to The Lean. The Lean is a channel that's been here for over a year, but I recently discovered it, I'd say within the last maybe anywhere from 4 to 6 months. And I love them. The shows that I watch that they review, I love it. He has a wonderful panel. He is Cortez. He has put together a wonderful panel. At least I believe he put it together. I think he put it together. But he's the one that's on every single show, and in the oh my gosh, the intro. So I am making the assumption that Cortez has put this panel together, and for each show there's like a rotating panel. There's certain people on certain shows, and so the reason why I'm talking about him right now is due to the Beverly Hills, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So it's usually 4 men, and besides the fact that they are wonderful eye candy, okay, they look, I was going to say beautiful, handsome, okay, well groomed and everything, and extremely intelligent, and oh my gosh, and I just had the word that I was going to use that says that I love the way they articulate their opinion. Each of them, they have different styles, different opinions, and different ways of expressing them. And they're not, like over the top where it's too much. They don't try to shove their opinion down your throat. They state it and they move on. They don't try to talk over each other. I mean, it's everything that a panel should be. I've been watching them for a few months, and my favorite is when and like I said, there's different panels that he puts together, but my favorite by far is when he gets what I call them the quartet. Okay, I call them the quartet. And it's 4 men, and then there is a rotating chair because he works around their schedule. So, they were discussing the most recent Real Housewives of Beverly Hills episode, and I decided to do something on Crystal because their review inspired me to do something on Crystal. The reason being is because we kind of don't. She's a flip-flopper, in my opinion. She's a flip-flopper, and sometimes I just wonder, like, how did you get here? How did you become this person walking across my screen? And as they were talking, I just noticed that we really don't. The only thing we know about Crystal is that she flip-flops. Like, so is she a mean girl at heart? Is she a mean girl? Like, is that who she actually is? Because she had me fooled and going back and forth, because at first I didn't like her. I'm gonna be honest. When she first came on the scene, at first I didn't have my mind made up, but then when I saw her in La Quinta that first night, I was like, oh no, I don't like you, girl. I don't like you. I don't like you. Then when she made it a big deal that Sutton walked in to give her jacket, I didn't like her, because then she ended up lying, and saying that, because what's her name? Sutton said, didn't we agree not to be talking about this after we was cool? And Crystal was like, yes, we did agree, and I did not. And then, what's their name? Bravo rolled that beautiful bean footage where we saw she went to each one and talked about it, and the story was slightly different with each retelling. I certainly didn't like her. But then, when she seemed to be on the side of reason, I'm gonna say, with Sutton and Garcelle, when she kept on explaining that Garcelle was not there when it was said, and then Erica said she didn't say that, but when she had said, when she expressed not to repeat that her husband calls her, and then when they confronted Erica and what's her name, Crystal, came out and said that she had relation to some of the victims and she was concerned about the victims, and so trying to defend Garcelle and being concerned about victims, she kind of won me back over. But then, most recently, it seemed like she flipped again. Flip flop, flip flop, flip flop. I can't keep up with the flip flops. Okay, how many pair of flip flops does she have? Okay, oh my gosh. So anyway, listening to their program, not only did I realize we need to just set the basis before I like really dig into Crystal. Also, I called in, you guys. I called in. So, I had never called into a live YouTube show before in my entire life. Which says a lot, the fact that I actually did it. And I am so glad I did. This was my welcoming. You know, they were so warm, so nice, so pleasant, you know, and answered my question. They, you know, took it in and broke it down, okay? And just gave me a new perspective to think about these, because I'm going to call them characters. I know they real people, but, you know, there's half character they playing and, you know, half real people. But anyway, they took my question seriously and answered it, and we laughed, and you know, there were serious points and then points where we laughed and talked and joked, and I love them. I love them. These men, I'm serious. I know y'all getting ready to, again, this is a corny moment, but they'd be my work husbands. I'd take all of them. So there's Cortez right there in the top, what is this? Left. I'm left-handed, I should know. Top left, there's Cortez, and then right next to him we have Sammy. Sometimes Sammy is there, and when Sammy's not available, then there's Chad, who's there, and then when Chad's not available, Sammy's there. So Sammy or Chad. And then we have Danny. Now, I'm going to admit I was afraid of Danny a little bit. Like, sometimes Danny scares me because his resting face is scary. Okay? But as you can see, he can smile. But he will have a resting face. Okay, so usually, let's say, for instance, if they're on for 60 minutes, 50 of those minutes, Danny is going to have a resting face. Okay, but then there's some good 10 minutes where he's smiling and stuff, and he's like a big old cuddly, he looks like anyway, big cuddly teddy bear when he smiles and stuff. But anyway, but 50 of those minutes, he might scare the shit out of you. Now, Jamie, right under, and Jamie, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. He's my favorite, y'all. He's my favorite. He is. I don't know if he'll even hear this, because I don't know if he should know he my favorite. But as of right now, he's my favorite. And now I don't know if, you know what, it's because of a couple of things. I'm gonna say this. Most of the time, I've already said what Jamie is saying, because y'all know I be trying to get my readings and recaps and stuff out before the upcoming episode. So I will have already expressed how I feel about somebody, and then they do their reviews right after. Like, you know, this night it was right after, literally right after it played, boom, they were there. And so sometimes it's right after, and when Jamie talks and talks about his opinion on different situations with the ladies, a lot of times, you guys, it is something I already proclaimed, or it's just the way I feel. Like, I usually agree with him. So he tends to be my favorite, not just because I agree with him, because it's not about agreeing, because I agree with Cortez a lot too. What it is, I think it's his style of coming back around to seal it up. Like Wendy said, button it up. You know, like he'll start and then he'll finish it too. He will say how he feels, he'll state it, but then that conversation he'll bring it full circle, because he'll be the one who started talking, and he'll be the one that ends talking too. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I know that I have a little bit of that inside of me. too. So maybe that's why he's my favorite. I don't know. But like I said, I just love the entire panel. And they're each friendly. And Cortez, he's friendly in real life. In real life, we've had minimal communication, but outside of, YouTube, but he's been polite. And that means a lot, you guys, because I'm fairly new in this, and I'm still my nice regular self, okay, shining sunshine personality, and politely have reached out to others, and everyone's not friendly. And that's all. I'm gonna leave it right there for right now, But this panel, these gentlemen, this channel, the lean, was wonderful. All right, and now that's me, Indigo Sage. I was trying to find my regular picture and I couldn't find it, so I just used my most recent picture. And I go by Indigo Sage. I know the channel is Indigo Sage Tarot. But I was so nervous, you guys. I ended up being the last caller. I'm so glad that I made it. But I was sitting there in the background trying to find a picture, and then going back and forth on if I should put Indigo Sage or Indigo Sage Tarot. So anyway, you can't tell that I was all that nervous. So go ahead and check it out, okay? Their channel is, the channel is called The Lean, okay? So lean in to it. Lean all the way in so you can hear them, all right? And this orange bar on the bottom, that's the episode that I called in. I'm the very last caller. I believe it's at 45 minutes and 21 seconds. And, yeah. They talked on how Patrick needs a diamond. Patrick. That's the one who told Lisa Rinna, that's my bell, thank you. And he said, I've never seen women argue like this before. Kathy's house ain't seen no mess like that. They talked about Kathy being horrified. And they were thankful that, Kyle was finally called out. And that's that. That's just a scratch. I'm just scratching the surface of the things that they dive into. And I just really love how they all, sometimes they agree and sometimes they don't, but they allow each other to talk. They're not ratchet. They don't try to speak over each other. They poke fun at each other. They're able to laugh at themselves. Okay? That's very important to me. I'm sounding like I'm like this is an application to see if they qualify as my boyfriend or something. Okay? But no, I'm just saying, just to even consider calling in or work with someone in any capacity, you really do have to kind of vet them out. And I'm learning that. And like I said, I had rude people before. And maybe to them, their actions weren't rude, but to me it was. And by far, they're nice, kind. I can't say enough. Obviously, you can see I can't say enough about them. All right, I will have to put in timestamps just in case somebody only wants to hear about Crystal. So let's go ahead and sage that out, shall we? All right. For those of you who only want to hear about Crystal and you done skipped forward, here you go, Skippy. All right. Seriously, there actually wasn't a lot to know about her other than what we already know. She joined Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Her husband is a famous Hollywood producer. And she is a self-proclaimed tiger mom. And she has her own business. She's an entrepreneur. Her company is called Real Coco. And let me point out, she's the first Asian American who's a descendant of Confucius, the 70s, I believe 76th generation. She's the first on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So there's that. Let's peek at her company real quick. All right. And here is a look at her website, which it's up, it's running, it works. That's good, because when we first heard about Robin's website, I went and looked and the shit wasn't working. So I didn't even know that, like, I don't know, because I was getting ready to say something and I'm like, oh, y'all probably might think that I sound dumb if I were to say I didn't know, that a person would advertise a website or have a website and it doesn't work. But anything can happen. That's the bottom line. Anything can happen. I don't know what was going on that day. Maybe everybody who mans the drivers, they must have went home sick or something, because that shit wasn't working that day for Robin. So that made me now, I like to go to people's websites, especially if I'm going to talk about them. I want to go to their website if they have one and just see if it worked. You know what I'm saying? Like, just going up to their house, just ringing the doorbell, just see if they got a doorbell and if it worked. Portia, the one, made me, now I look at the size of people's welcome mats, But anyway, her website worked. It's described as Real Cocoa. They are dedicated to thoughtfully sourced, high-quality, organic coconut products that are good for you and the planet. So, recipes begin with drinks. Mounds and mounds and mounds of drinks, different drink recipes. Which, now that makes sense. That's why the ladies ask you to make their drink all of the time. It's weird to me that I feel like I was given, like, a different impression as to why she makes the drinks all the time. Although she did admit before that she likes making the drinks. But then there's some times where she kind of, I guess I'm going to say, teases them and say, oh my gosh, do I have to make the drinks? Oh, you guys are waiting for me? Oh my gosh. But girl, like, a third of her page is drink recipes. Yeah, you gonna make the drinks. I mean, if that's what you be doing, making drinks as your job. Okay, anyway, that would be like if with my group of friends, I'm the only tarot reader, and then they want a tarot read, and then all of us just looking at each other like, who gonna do it? I mean, anyway, girl, a 30 page is about drinks. So yeah, you're gonna make the drinks. All right, anyway, moving right along. Now, here's something that was suspicious. She had 6 coconut type of waters, 6 different, like, coconut, different organic flavored waters, 6 of them. 5 out of those 6 were sold out. The reason why that was suspicious to me is because I heard that shit be fake. That people tend to kind of do that. They only get like 3 or 5 in stock, and so that they can put sold out to try to create more interest in their product. Now, I'm not saying that she did that, because of course all of this is alleged, and what? Alleged. However, when all of your stuff is sold out, it does look suspicious to me. Because I'm a person who has a website and I sell magnets on there. When I get low, I reorder. So, not saying that I could never run out. That's not what I'm saying. But hearing that this is some kind of trick, sometimes in situations like this where everything is sold out, I do feel like it's a trick. Because, girl, you're a tiger mom. You're a perfectionist. Like, you're self-proclaimed. And you mean to tell me that you are not on top of it? I don't know. That just seems weird to me. I can restock my stuff. You can't restock your stuff? I don't know. I don't believe it. But anyway, we've been on this long enough. Now, let's begin. Hey, so we are at the pass card, and it is upright 2 of Wands. Now, my regular sages know already, but for the new subs, thank you. And let me just say this real quick, because I do like to give summaries, basic summaries, and information so that we're all on the same page. All right. The past card is very important because it is the biggest driving influence behind the present card. The present card is coming up next, and the present card is a direct answer to the question. All right, any questions, class? And then also, um, oh goodness, I was getting ready to say something, and well, right now where I am, it's about 4:20, so I forgot. But I'm sure it'll come back to me. So the past card is the upright Two of Wands. And that's what it was. The question that I asked for this session is, of course, on, you should already know by now, Crystal Kung MINKOFF. And the question was, what's the real reason she decided to join the cast of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? All right. That's really good groundwork for any other reading that I may be doing on her in the future. These are like puzzle pieces and they will sync up. They just help us have a better understanding. I found that when I start right from the beginning of when they walked across my screen, that helps me understand the later readings more, you know? So that's the question. The past, as it relates to the answer, it means many small successes surrounds this decision. Her confidence has increased and she feels like I'm doing it my way now. Okay? I'm doing it my way now. Many small successes surrounds this decision. That's interesting. And I believe I clarified them. I did. And I used, this is going to be a new deck for you guys. Let's look. All right. So the clarifier is the Four of Pentacles that is clarifying the Two of Wands upright in the past position. So the Four of Pentacles, this card is of the Miser. Her saying I'm doing it my way now has to do explicitly with earning her own money. In the past position, this means she's set herself up for her current position, most likely by hanging on to something in a material sense. All right, I feel like I said a mouthful. When I saw that, hanging on to something in a material sense, I'm going to tell you, just as Indigo Stage, the first thing that popped in my mind was how we sometimes find out later that some of these housewives been faking the funk. And what I mean by faking the funk is they rent houses, they stun on us like Airbnbs are their vacation homes. They be doing that. And we always find out later. Well, not always, because for me to say always, it's like an absolute, which would mean that we always find out, honey. I'm sure there's a lot that we don't find out. But it's just that when it comes out later, that's when they don't be wanting no comment and this, that, and the other, or some of them do foolishly make a comment. Anyway, the point is that they be thinking the funk sometimes. So, back to Crystal. And it says in the past position, this means that she set herself up for her current position, the current being a cast member. Okay, so setting up to become a cast member for Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Most likely, this was accomplished by hanging on to something in a material sense. All right. And I'll leave that hanging right there. Now, you know the past influences the present. Let's go to the present. The present is represented by two of swords. All right. I meant to tell you guys too. The deck is afterthought. This is a moment after, you guys, and I've already touched on. And actually, this is like my second time around having a re-record, so not sure if this version has me saying this or not. But the clarifiers are CBD Tarot de Marcial, which I'm gonna say a little bit more about that clarifiers deck at the very, very end. Okay. So let me give you guys what you want. Because if you're here for a crystals reading, here it is. The present is Two of Swords, but from the after, a moment after deck. And the imagery. Now, you know I say that because of imagery. I am 1,000% big on imagery. But what it means is making peace internally. But there's a need to ask in this deck for this card, why is she blindfolded? Okay. The reason for that need is because she's peeking underneath. She's positioned herself in a way that appears truthful and fair. However, she's showing us the complete opposite right in our face. Okay, so let me back. So, in the present position, which answers the question was, why did she decide to join the Housewives of Beverly Hills? So this does have to do with making peace internally inside of her. So she's going back and forth with something, a decision. Because Two of Swords is always have to do with a decision. You know, swords, I love them swords, and swords is sharp, meaning you're sharp with words, cutting right through, slicing right through the bullshit. Double-edged sword, very sharp, knowledgeable, intellect, not easily fooled, and will slice right through the bullshit with words or a glance sometimes. All right, that is what swords represents, especially when they are upright. Two of Swords is having two choices, two options, choosing one over the other, making a decision. That's what Two of Swords in general is about. This deck is the afterthought, one moment after. So, and you know what? I'm almost positive this is the after. But I really, you know what? Before the end of this session, I am gonna make 100% sure. But I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, so the blindfold being, you know what? I believe I blew up this picture a little bit for you guys. So hold on. Yes, I did double check real quick, and this is the after um, tarot deck, which I knew it was, but I don't know. You know how sometimes you just want to make sure, and especially since I had said it and talked about it, I had to make sure. So yes, it is the after tarot, and so it represents the moment after, and this is a larger image. So hopefully you guys can see that the blindfold is obscured, whatever. Hopefully I'm saying it right. If not, you know what I'm talking about. It ain't the way it's supposed to be. All right. She's peeking underneath, but trying to give the impression that she can't see, and like Justice is blind. That's what it's reminding me of. Like Justice is blind, you know, because Justice has the blindfold. Okay, she's trying to pretend like she's trying to pretend like she can't see anything. Like same way that she didn't want Sutton to see color, she's trying to pretend like she can't see. She can't see. And so she's just going to be fair because she's not on anyone's side. She doesn't see anyone's point of view more than the other. She sees them equally and not at all. Okay? And that doesn't make any sense. Right? Which is why she's peaking. And the two parties that have the swords represent both of those sides. So you have, now she done got kicked off for this team, but it was my dream team 3 is now my dream team 2. Okay, that sounds better. Dream team 2, which is Sutton and Garcelle. But you got Sutton and Garcelle on one side, and then the other side is the Mean Girls clique. The the Days of Their Lives 5, their Lives 5, whatever, Mean Girl crew. And so she's very much aware that they are going at it with each other. She's very much aware that there are two sides, two teams, whatever you want to call it. And she's trying to ride that middle and pretend like she doesn't see any side more than the other. But it's a lie, because she peeking on the bottom. And good old Bravo editors, they good now today, huh? I was just cussing them out last reading, saying they had a special place in hell. And now I'm talking about them good them good Bravo editors. They're good today, y'all. Today they're good. They show tomorrow it still might be a special place in hell for the Bravo editors. But today they're good. So, they've shown us Crystal's both of her sides, and even when she's smirking and stuff. And anyway, so I just wanted to show you guys that a little bit bigger. Let's continue. So what we have here is the clarifier from the De Martial deck. All right, it's French. But you know what was weird, you guys? It's French, but it's Italian. It's the French copying an Italian deck. So it's French and Italian. Anyway, I like it. All right. The clarifier is Page of Wands, and it was in reverse. Yes, that huge green stick is a wand. All right. So, just as a reminder and new information for some, when we go into the court cards, which is the Page, Knight, Queen, King, and all other adaptations of their name, these are the court cards, and they represent people in our life, people who are close to the situation, close to us, or us, the querent. So, we have a page. The Page of Wands reverse means that there's a huge disconnect between her current position and the job that she dreamed of in her head. Okay? So, this is clarifying what was in her present. Her present was the Two of Swords, with her peeking, her saying, oh, it's fair, I'm being fair, because I can't see nothing. I just know that I'm aware that you guys are going at each other, the Mean Girls Club and my dream team. I'm aware of it, and I'm just gonna play both sides and pretend like I don't see anything. I have selective memory, selective sight, but I'm peeking. Yeah. And so the clarifier is the Page of Wands in reverse, which means there's a huge disconnect. Yeah, I'd say so. There is a huge disconnect. We've seen her. We've seen it. It's disconnected. We were all shocked, taken aback, grabbed our pearls, okay? And I sighed. Or either, what do you call it? Anyway, I grabbed my imaginary pearls and gasp. That's what it was, gasp. Shoot, I'm like, I can see it in my mind, but yes, when I saw her, after I had already barely let her on my drink ding, and saw her invite those ladies to dinner, Garcelle, Erica, and Kathy, and they had duck, and I've had duck before. Y'all know I'm a bit of a chef, so anyway, that's a whole nother story. All right, so, but the way Crystal, the character or caricature of herself, at that meal was horrifying, to say the least, because I thought she was beyond that bullshit. I did a reading on her, and well, it was actually on Sutton. After the very first episode, when I saw the very first, I think it was the very first episode I saw. No. It was the second. I think it was the second episode I saw. I did a reading. I pulled out the cards because I was like, I'm feeling something funny. And that reading, which I'll attach in here probably at the end or something, some kind of way I'll attach it. But it was about, this was even before Sutton walked in La Quinta. La Quinta. I think it was before, yeah, it was before the La Quinta walk-in, or before they told us she had walked in, okay? Because all that happened back to back, but they waited like a month before they told us this is what they did, a flashback. It's black and white, so you know it's a flashback. Their editors, see, we didn't have to wait till the next session. They editors can go to hell. All right, but anyway, so the I did it right after that. Tell me if you're that girl. Are you that girl? Say you're that girl. Boom. And then, it went off and was like, to be continued or whatever. We just fucking with you, whatever it said. I did a reading, and that kind of set the tone for Crystal and Sutton. And here's the thing. So as time progressed, because, with tarot readings, we all have freedom of choice, and so that can affect the outcome. So I was like, all right, so Crystal is getting better. So she's not as bad as I thought that she would be. And you know what? Why did I ever say that? Because she's exactly who I said she was. And I said that in a reading before this, right after I think the second episode. I'll attach it so you guys can look at that. And then it'll be like a lot of head nodding, like, yeah, I saw that, So anyway, and not just with Crystal, but with Sutton too. I talk about both of them. So the clarifier is, saying that there's a disconnect. And my personal comment is that most likely this has to do with her coming across as a flip-flopper. Ultimately, Crystal is a mean girl at heart, but masquerades as a reasonable woman when the mean girls are not around. All right? In the position of best, what she saw as best, the best outcome for the decision to join Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is represented by the Ace of Pentacles. That's a wonderful card. It's upright. It's upright. Pentacles, when they're upright, 90% that's good. It's a good sign. It's a good sign. And aces, they represent new beginnings. Okay. So money and new beginnings. Yes, honey, come through. That's in the best position. That's wonderful. The first signs of material success. Now remember, let's back. Let's back. Let's back to the past card. The card in the past. it said she was holding on to something of material value that affects her present. So now we're here where it says the best in her mind is the first signs of material success. I wonder what does that look like for her? Because material success, that's material shit. So what, are they going to move into an even bigger home or upgrade? They going to upgrade something. For her, what that looks like, material success, it continues and says it signifies possibility where abundance and security are concerned. That's just even more of the same thing of what it is I just said. Now let's look at the clarifier. Right here is exactly where I felt like now we're meeting the crazy. Now we are meeting the crazy. Okay. I knew it was something, there was just a little something under that surface that just wasn't quite right to me. And all of this is for entertainment purposes only, and every single word is alleged and what? Not to be used as facts. Okay? Not to be used as facts. I can say that. EJ Global, can you? All right, anyway, let me leave that lady alone. But she can't get nothing out of this well, baby. So anyway, new ideas. So let me tell you what it means and then elaborate on this is where we see crazy. The clarifier is Page of Cups in reverse. It represents new ideas and emotional immaturity, keeping creative thoughts to yourself. Your inner critic is on overdrive. When your higher self speaks to you, you're left wondering if it's your ego or intuition. Now that's where you are effed up. Not that you can't recover, but when your higher self is talking to you and you can't decipher if that's your ego or intuition, that's not a good sign. You need to step back, take a break, cut stuff off, go off the grid maybe, I don't know. Get rid of your cell phone, chuck it into a river. Because you should always know your higher self. You should always listen to your higher self. Your higher self is, besides your higher power, and for some, depending on your religion and your beliefs, your higher self is your higher power. And your higher self is going to look out for you the absolute most. So you should absolutely listen to your higher self and know your higher self and recognize your higher self. And some of us are born knowing our higher self, and some of us aren't. Some of us go through trials and tribulations just so that we're left with nothing but our higher self, so that we can hear it, recognize it, depend on it, and pull it on out if we need to pull it. But our higher self is always there. And our higher self is the wisest part of our being. All right. Hopefully, I have not freaked anyone out with telling the truth as it is actually. Um, and just in case I haven't freaked anyone out yet, let me go ahead and add this. Um, we are all spirits having a human experience. That's a quote from someone I forgot, or either it's anonymous by the time it got to me. It's been around for eons of years. And if you must know, we'll just say it's an African proverb or something. There are African proverbs, but I can't remember who it was. Anonymous, but the 420 in me just had to say it. So this is where it got, like I said, where I was like, "Oh, you little girl." So there's emotional immaturity, and we've seen that with her flip flopping. Period. Her flip flopping, like when she got around those mean girls, having the dinner or the lunch or whatever, the brunch at her house, and talking that mess about Sutton behind Sutton's back. I've never heard of her. She'd never be here. If she pulled this stuff, she'd be kicked out. Oh my god. Don't even know her. Who is she? Who the fuck are you? And what have you done with Chris? Oh, she just looked different, sounded different, was talking different. I'm like, who the fuck is this? Girl, is it Halloween? What is going on? And then you're gonna sit up here and invite Garcelle, and Garcelle is taken aback as well, which means you didn't even act, because we've seen Garcelle and Crystal have scenes where I thought they were genuine. That's where Crystal kind of started to win me over, was when I would see her interact with Garcelle. And for Garcelle to be shocked at what Crystal's saying, that means you didn't do what you're doing now. See, she must have been, that's how she really is. Because let me tell you something. This is what I had heard. So, Kathy's on there, right? As a friend of, and that was up in the air for a minute, and then they ended up on the friends of, right? Okay, fine. I ain't never heard of a friend of being able to pull someone in and be the connection. But it's the first time for everything. And that is exactly what happened with this, here and now. Crystal stepped into it by being friends of Kathy. Yes, we all heard, that she was friends with Teddy. Teddy don't matter. Teddy ain't there. Teddy don't matter. Teddy ain't no teddy bear. Teddy can go away and scare somebody else. Bye-bye, Teddy. Kaping. That's the sound of me kicking her off to the side. To the side, Lord. The side. Kaping. That's how my kicks sound. Kaping. Anyway. So she came on by way of Kathy. Kathy ain't nothing but a friend of the show. Okay, but everybody say Kathy got power. She must. She probably wear a Power Rangers outfit up under. She got a yellow Power Rangers leotard up under all them clothes. Okay, and it's made of 24 karat gold. But let's bring it back. Okay, just in case I lost any of you, just hold on. You're good. You're good in my hands. So Crystal inviting them, that group was interesting, eclectic, shall I say. Erica, Kathy, and my good girlfriend Garcelle. Lord, that was an accident. I do not like it when I do that. Y'all already know, because I do not like Homegirl, and I love Garcelle. I hate it when I mix up their names. Anyway, so that group in itself was weird, which on the lean they had talked about that as well, that was a weird choice of people. And that was Crystal's choice. And Crystal decided in that moment to show Garcelle, I guess, who she really was. And I think that was Crystal's way of tipping it. She couldn't. See, here's some more. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and say it, y'all. Some punk ass shit. Because Crystal is not seeing it for, and never have seen it for, Sutton. Okay? We all see that now. She's cool with Garcelle. Crystal's cool with Garcelle. Crystal knows Garcelle is ride or die, and she's cool with Sutton. She already know her cool status because she saw it last season with Denise. We all did. Garcelle is a ride or die. So instead of Crystal having a one-on-one about, do you want to stay supporting Sutton, or who do you think is actually right in this, Sutton or Erica, or whose side are you on, Erica's or Sutton? Nothing like that. She wanted to know, or either they forced her to do it. I don't know, honey. But she could have gotten to the bottom of how Garcelle feels one-on-one. They could have did it one-on-one. The reason why I call Crystal a punk ass bitch is because she called for backup, which was Kathy and Erica. What the fuck are they gonna do? Honey, Garcelle is not intimidated. Honey, okay. Anyway, so, and I said in the reading when I did the session right before this one, I did Garcelle's, and I'll say it again here. I feel like Garcelle did tell them what's what when they were talking about Sutton. And that is why Bravo can go to Bravo's editing team. Bravo's editing team need to be slapped 10 times. All right. So, hopefully that explains because we've got to keep going. But hopefully I've broken down the emotional immaturity and her new ideas and keeping creative thoughts to herself. Her inner critic is in overdrive, and it's going a little bonkers in her mind. And so that's the reason why right now she can't even tell if it's her ego or intuition. That's the reason why. All right. Continuing. So you guys, my sages and newcomers, this is where I ask you guys to please click like and subscribe. My goal is to reach the YouTube standards in order to go live with you guys, because I cannot wait to be able to do that. So what you can do on your part in order to help me reach that goal is click like and subscribe. All right. And for those of you who already have subscribed, thank you so much. And for those of you who may have already clicked like, thank you very much. All right. Let's keep my dream and my hope alive. All right. To be able to go live with you guys. Okay. Now, let's check out the worst. The worst, we have Page of Wands. The worst for her would be being seen as a Debbie Downer. That would be the worst in her mind. We're going to stop right there for a moment. Because when this came to me and I was like, a Debbie Downer, I'm like, she's a bitch. She's a mean girl. She's sarcastic. When was she a Debbie Downer? And that was when they were in La Quinta. When they were in La Quinta and she didn't want to come and, this anxiety for being seen as a Debbie Downer started before she got on the television. Okay, walking across our screens from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I'm like, who are these bitches? She already had this anxiety. She didn't want to be seen as a Debbie Downer. What that tells me is that she must have like tears of a clown. She must, not meaning she's a clown, but she fakes it You know, she smiles when really she's sad inside. That's that kind of stuff that's going on when you consciously are doing things in order to not look like or appear to be a Debbie Downer. Shit. People who are not Debbie Downers, they just don't even think about being Debbie Downer. But then also consider that she's fighting an eating disorder. All of this is alleged, but this is just, I'm just repeating her words that she said while being on my television. I'm just repeating what she said. She had an eating disorder early on. And you can see it in her face, too. Some of the pictures that I saw and that are available online, her face is much chubbier. And which leads to probably why she was so self-conscious about being naked and Sutton coming in. You know, when you have body issues, allegedly body issues and stuff, you don't want anyone to see you naked. So even for the half a second that it was, compounded with, you know, Sutton saying what she said, which she should have just said, sorry, my bad, here's your coat, and backed out. But I'm not putting all the blame, trust and believe, I'm not putting the blame on Sutton as to why Crystal reacted that way. No. I'm not. I'm just saying it just compounded it by her saying like what she said. Rather than just, sorry about that, my bad, here's your jacket. Like, I would have just threw it. Like, but of course, she didn't know that Crystal had those insecurities or you know, insecurities, period. Because like she said, she being Sutton said, Kathy came into my room, I was naked, and she knocked and just opened it up and came in with, she said she had half a dozen pillows and said she was just checking on me. So, and then of course, like I said, you guys, right now, Bravo editors, good old Bravo editors, they showed Kathy doing just that, you know. And I believe Sutton even said, I'm naked, you know. Because, you know, they had the words on the bottom. And Kathy just came in anyway. She said, I just want to see if you all right. I swear to God, that's something. Well, no, that's nothing I would do. I would knock to see if someone's all right. I wouldn't just walk in. There's no way I would do that. I don't want my eyes busted ever. Okay. Anyway, so Debbie Downer, I can see her having that as anxiety when she already has insecurities within her, and there's no telling how those form in her mind. Then, you know, her making the decision she doesn't want to go to dinner, you know, and everybody goes to dinner that night. Like, that's oh my gosh, I was going to say club. What do you call it? The group all cast dinner or whatever, cast filming dinner. Yeah, so I could see her. And that wasn't La Quinta, that was Palm Springs. That was Palm Springs. But continuing on, didn't she try to paint Sutton in that color of shade? Debbie Downer? Hasn't she, like, since that moment, she was calling her weirdo and strange, odd, and mental, and violation, and, what did she say? You're a strange, odd person. Everything, I believe everything I just said is names that Crystal has called Sutton. And even when Sutton sitting out, well, this was funny as fuck, y'all. When Sutton yelled and said, "What planet are you from?" And Crystal said, "Not yours." I hollered. Okay. Oh my goodness, I hollered. I did. I rewound it a couple of times too. I am so serious, and I'm just talking slow like this so that I don't holler again right now because that shit was funny. And I was like, I was like, Crystal, that is cold-blooded. Don't be acting like she from another planet. But at the same time, to say what planet are you from, that's implying that Crystal's from another planet. But anyway, so like if you could dish it, you could take it, you know. But I'm not here for Crystal, but sometimes she is funny. But my point is that I feel like she tried to paint Sutton as a Debbie Downer. So is that because she didn't want to be looked at as a Debbie Downer? That's something that she was actually worried about. Okay, and I didn't know that until I did these cards. But I'm like, but you tried to paint Sutton as well, I guess not Debbie Downer, Debbie Weirdo, I guess. Anyway, being banished by the group is her worst fear. As you can see in this imagery, this man, he must be a downer for Debbie. It looked like Debbie's in the background. She must have told him to get going, kick rocks, and he literally is walking away kicking rocks with his head down, looking at the rocks he kicking. And he's been banished. And this is her worst fear. Let's clarify this. The clarifier is 6 of Pentacles, and that is interesting to me because what that means in this situation is that it's one of two things. One of two things. This time, not both, one or the other. Helping others at the detriment of yourself, or someone taking advantage of you. That's clarifying not wanting to be looked upon as a Debbie Downer, not wanting to be banished from the group, throwing shade on Sutton, which really that's projection, because she's trying to see Crystal at the heart of her. Allegedly, what I'm getting, what I see, she feels awkward. So instead of shining any light on that or admitting to it, she'd rather make someone else be the awkward person that she actually feels like inside. So that's projection that she's doing towards Sutton. All of this bullshit, you know, like no one's ever heard of her, and you know, I never heard of her, and she's awkward and she's weird, and you know, that's projection. Okay, poor Crystal, for real, because not only is she projecting, because she's not the first and won't be the last person to project, but she's doing it on national television. One of these days, she's gonna be embarrassed. Because I can see it. I can see it. That's projection. Plain and simple. So anyway, clarified by helping others at the detriment of yourself. The someone taking advantage of you, I don't feel like anyone's taking advantage of her, but I put that there and left it there so I don't forget, just in case. Because it's like something nagging in the back of my brain, someone taking advantage of her. But I'm in the front, I'm like, ain't nobody taking advantage of her. But I don't trust Bravo editing. We might see something later, so I left it there. But ultimately, helping others at the detriment of yourself. She looks like a goddamn fool trying to fit in with the Mean Girls Club. Okay? That's at the detriment of herself. She looks like a fucking fool. Continuing. What's to come is represented by the Queen of Pentacles. That's nice. I mean, she's upright. That's nice. What's nice is that she's upright. All right? Pentacles upright, cool. Queen, cool. What's to come? Queen of Pentacles upright, independent, financial stability. That's definitely her aim, her angle, her, you know, driving force behind her decision to be on the Beverly Hills house characters. Independent financial stability. That's also interesting. Let's keep going. The clarifier is 6 of Swords, which represents expecting a smooth and steady ride. So it must have been bumpy or rocky. Okay, roaring rapids. They're showing me, when people go canoeing and they be hanging on for dear life. Well, to me, in my mind, I be seeing them and I'm like, y'all hanging on for dear life. Like, y'all, one little tilt of that little tiny canoe, and you can crack your head, your skull on a rock. And you doing all this for what? Bragging rights? I mean, what is all of this roaring rapid stuff? So they're showing me that as to, I guess, what her independent financial stability looked like before. It was roaring rapids. And what's expected of this decision by her is a smooth and steady ride. Okay. Now, this was funny to me when I saw it, because this imagery, for me, when it shows up, it kind of, for the most part, not every time this card shows up, but for the most part, this imagery right here it's representing someone who's overly dramatic. So I don't know if you guys ever seen it, but there's a YouTube clip of this man who, it says the longest death ever, or the man who dies the longest ever. And it's like, I think 13 minutes, either 13 or 18 minutes. And he's dying that whole entire time. And he has on a yellow shirt and black hair. I'll never forget that. And it was so funny. Just a little funnier, when it's 420, but it's still funny whether it's 420 or not. But my point is that this card is kind of, a lot of times when it comes up, this imagery, not the card, but the imagery for this card in this deck, it refers to that longest death scene ever, just someone being overly dramatic. With that being said, I know where the dead bodies are buried. That's sort of the theme of this card. And Spirit added, because I helped you bury them. So Crystal ain't gonna take nobody out. Of course, not this season. She did do some little pew pew, little tiny pew pews at Sutton. But she's not in a position to take anyone out. Okay. But she will help bury the body. She'll definitely do that. After all, she's an undercover pick-me. Pick-me is pick me, over here, pick me. And they're raising both arms and shaking them, and they're on their tippy toes. Pick me, she's a pick-me. But she's an undercover pick-me. And I say undercover because, or maybe it's Bravo's editing. I don't know. I'm going to blame everything on Bravo's editing. I say undercover because it's like, I see glimpses at it and I'm like, ugh. But then I'm like, why do I see some good times too? Where's, and that reminds me of the woman with the blindfold on, but peeking from the bottom. Like, you're an undercover pick-me and you're wanting some direction from the mean girls. Or maybe Kathy, who secretly run the mean girls. They probably Kathy got a bookshelf in her house where you push that red book and the bookshelf turns and does a 180 and you all of a sudden in a new room down in a basement with a circle in the middle. Honey, some chalk drawn on the ground, honey, messing around at Kathy's house. Alleged, everything is alleged, not to be used as facts. Anyway, Crystal is there to help her bury the bodies. All right, that's the energy influence going in. And this refers back to what I said at the beginning, you guys, when I said this is the first time I've seen a friend of the show get to bring someone in. a friend of the show, Kathy, brought Crystal in to be on the show. Okay. Does that mean she automatically gets to come back next season? Now, most likely she is going to come back next season. Okay. So, it is what it is. But was it solidified because Kathy brought her in and Kathy is Kathy? Is she kissing her butt, helping her bury bodies, waiting for direction from Kathy because Kathy brought her in? Like, what is this? Let's continue because there is a clarifier. Okay, you guys, every once in a while, I get sad from these readings, and I'm not sad, but I'm a little sad. Like Michael Scott said when he said he's not superstitious. He said, I'm just a little stitious, but not superstitious. So I'm just a little sad. And I say little because I think she has more control than what we're seeing in the situation. It's like she kind of wants to play the middle. She wants to be able to not commit 100% to something. Crystal's very careful about what she commits to, but she's quick to back up someone, throwing someone under the bus, or being mean to someone. She's quick to back up Kathy. It just, so it's like, are you helpless or just a mean girl? Because you're trying to play both sides, and I don't like it. So this card in reverse, it's the Sun in reverse. This card in reverse is clarifying her energy as she applied or wanted to be on and is on, made that decision to apply to be on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. This is clarification to that energy. It is the Sun card and it is in reverse. That means she's hiding what really makes her smile. So that's sad to me. That's sad to me. Why would you want to hide what really makes you smile? Like, why is that heavy in your life on whether or not you can smile, should smile, what makes you smile? What is that about? Just smile. And then I thought about it and I was like, oh, probably some evil stuff. She's hiding what really makes her smile. So that's interesting. That's interesting. And my brain is saying, so it's going so fast right now on all the possibilities relating to her. So I'm not going to go there right now. I will wait at least until another episode before I go in on all the possibilities of what this could possibly mean. But she's hiding what really makes her smile. That sounds like an evil Disney queen to me. Like some kind of evil witch, somebody who laughed like that. I don't know. Let's continue. Yet another very, very important part of this video is when I remind you. See, earlier I just asked you, will you click like and subscribe? But right now, I get to remind you, please remember to click like and subscribe and smash the bell in order to know when I post again. And thank you so much for your support. All right. Enjoy your weekend and be safe. Please continue to wash your hands. It's still out there. Let's just at least wash our hands. All right. Bye.